Hi, it's Jared from Strong Roots Farm. Today, we're gonna do some chores. And so it's frigid. I'm gonna show you kind of what we do on a cold day when I just have to do the bare minimum. So you're gonna get to see some of our chores today. And also I'm gonna talk about work philosophy. So I had a comment, somebody sent me a message and said they like my philosophy, they wanna know more about it. Actually, I had a few comments about it. And so I'm gonna kind of talk to you about the work philosophy, how we break work down, what are some of my categories, and how I choose what I'm gonna do on a daily basis to better my farm. And so that's all coming up right after this. Well, I've been home for about 10 minutes. It's about 5 o'clock, and I'm learning that making this video when it's frigid and cold, we're about 20 degrees right now, is a horrible decision because I have to hold the camera with my hand and the buttons don't work unless I take my glove off. So I have one hand that's stinking freezing right now just so I can hold this camera. Whatever, making videos, right? So we're home. We're gonna do some daily chores, kind of check on some things. You can see over here, not only do I have a huge pile of manure that I removed, but I have a hay ring that sits outside just to give them another access, the cattle. And there's a big round hay bale. I put that out 2 nights ago. So we don't need to put hay in there, but I will check the hay on the other side. They should be good for another evening or two. I go through about 2 to 3 round bales a week, sometimes 4 days. I make it 4 days, just depending on how cold it is and how much they're eating, those kind of things. So I have a pretty good stock. There's about, I don't know, 55 round bales left there to get me through. And so we're gonna check on those things and then go inside with the pigs and check the pigs. The one job that I know I have to do tonight as far as the daily chore is the chicken water is low. I noticed it last night, and so I'm gonna have to top that off today. When I do that, I will go ahead and top off all of the waters because I'll have the hose out and I'll have to drain all the hose. So I might as well hit everything while I'm doing it. So you can see here, this is one of my pet peeves about these hay feeders is I got one little calf that's decided he wants to be in where the hay's at and step his feet on people's food. And so, but they've not even started eating on this round bale. So I'm gonna shove this one in, put another round bale in here tonight and keep them going. It also is a nice windbreak for them on the other side. You can see we've got a few young baby calves out here. Got this baby calf over here that he's only 6 days old. Did not expect, I do not like having January calves, but I bought these bred cows and unfortunately I have to deal with where the other guy bred them. And so I had this baby calf 5 days ago on January 10th or whatever it was, and it's really cold and frigid. So it's the first time ever in the history, 15 years of farming with cattle, that I've had to put a calf blanket on a calf, basically a calf jacket. I look like one of these crazy women that put sweaters on their chihuahuas. As we come out, check the pigs. For some reason, they are piling straw and they want to lay here. There's my heat lamp, but they're pushing all their straw up against that feeder. So I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Their water, I don't know if you can see that. It's about half empty. I could get another 5-7 days out of that water, but like I say, we're gonna fill the chicken water tonight. And so as I have the hose full of water, I might as well go ahead and fill this before I empty everything back out and drain everything back out, because everything will freeze. So I'm gonna work in here a little bit, get this cleaned up, 5 minutes maybe, and then I'll start getting the hoses hooked up and we'll fill this water. Okay, so we've got our pigs done. They got water and stuff enough, and I fixed the feeder there. And as I got ready to fill their thing with water and haul the hose out to the chickens, realized last time we did this, I let the kids do it. And they did not walk the water out of the hose like I've told them time and time again to do in the winter. And so now I've got an icy hose and it doesn't work. So now I have to roll the hose up, take it inside where it can thaw out, roll the water out of it, bring it back and use it tomorrow night. So luckily I've got some 6-gallon water canisters that we use for the camper, and I'm going to be able to haul water to the chickens. Not a big deal. They drink 2 to 3 gallons, 4 gallons a day in this winter time. So I'm going to take them 12 gallons out there. They'll be good for 2 or 3 days, but I'll get that water hose thawed tonight, and then I'll bring it back out and we'll do that job tomorrow. And so those are that's kind of a daily chore. And when they do bad things, when you do things that are stupid during your daily chores, this is one of the part of my philosophy, when you don't do things 100% right, it will cost you in the long run. And so it's important as you're doing maintenance and doing chores and doing things that it's right and it's put away correctly. And whether it's putting the tool back where it goes or whether it's getting the hose correct, it's going to save you in the next project. And so that's one of the things here. And so let's go talk about the philosophies, and then I'm going to put some of this hay in, kind of show you what I do for putting a round bale of hay in for the cows here. When I think of my farm philosophy and work philosophy, I break all farm work down into 3 categories. And I look at these 3 categories and what items per day go into each one of these categories. And the goal is to figure out the ratio or minutes spent per day in each of these categories, per month, and then per year. And so let's go over the 3 categories. The first one is daily chores. Chores that you need to do to keep things alive. That's your daily chores. The second one is maintenance. So that's, fixing a feeder perhaps. That was a maintenance job, something that was already there. I call weed eating underneath the fence, maintenance. Beautification is maintenance. Fixing something that's broke is maintenance. Tractor maintenance, all those things fall into maintenance. So things that you do on a daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, that is just to kind of protect what you've already done in the past. And I think that's the key, protecting or maintaining what you have already built and put in place. And the third category is farm improvements. So I think about these rules in everything that I do on the farm when I'm planning my day out or thinking, or when I come home and whatever I'm doing. Every farm has daily maintenance. Every homestead has daily chores. And so there's something that you have to do every day to keep your animals alive. There's something that you should be doing every day to maintain something. Otherwise, weeds will grow up, fence rows will get crowded, or tractors will break down. So we all have these things. Even if you have just a little garden, a backyard again thing, it's common. You're going to water, you're going to check your plants, you're going to prune, you're going to pick a tomato, whatever it would be, right? That's your daily chores. So I come home every day and I do that as quickly as I can. Next, I say, okay, maintenance, what do I have to do today to prevent a long-term major disaster project? What do I need to do to maintenance? What needs to be fixed? And I knock those things out. And then the last thing is, what am I working on to make my farm better in a project? Am I building a lean-to? Am I building more fence? Am I building a new waterer? Whatever it would be, whatever you've seen on my channel, I'm looking to make my farm better. And so I focus on what can I do with that. At the end of every day, I look back at my day. And in the military, we call this an AAR, or an after action review. I look back at my day and say, how did my day go? How many minutes did I spend doing chores? How many minutes did I spend doing maintenance? And what did I do today to make my farm better? And when you look at it like that, you're gonna start seeing that ratio come to pass, right? It's gonna be common. And sometimes you're gonna have days where you're building something and it's totally great. You're building a new project, you spend a bunch of money and you fix something great on your farm. And the rest of the time you're just running around with a chicken, like a chicken with your head cut off, doing chores and trying to keep the fence from growing up, that kind of thing. So as you look at the minutes though, you'll start to see where you're at. And I'll tell you, if you're not spending 50% of your time making your farm better, then you're heading for disaster. And so here's what it is. I'll come home, I'll be sick. Like, I do not want to work today. I really, as a normal human being, would go straight to bed. But I've got a farm, and so I have to do something. I would literally come home vomiting, not feeling like I want to do anything. I would have to go do my 15 minutes of cattle move and get my chores done, get the kids to help me if they can. And then I say, I cannot go in without doing all 3 categories today. I have to do some maintenance. So maybe I pay my son to do the maintenance. Maybe, hey, Cole, weed eat this fence 100 feet. Just get 100 feet of weeding done. I'll pay you $5. And okay, I can check that box. There were days that I literally came home sick and I drove 1 fence post. I'd go out, we were building fence. I drove the tractor out there, drove 1 fence post, put the tractor back away, just so I could say, I made the farm better today. And so that's my philosophy rules. And that's how I work my farm. And that's kind of the mentality I have. There are days when I'm way better. When I spend, 9 hours making my farm better and an hour doing daily chores. Some days I'll come home and I'll have a project going on that's bettering the farm. My plan is to do a quick chore round and skip the daily maintenance or do something really small for daily maintenance and spend my time making my farm better. But during my daily chores, I find something wrong. And for instance, they've broke a water line, or somebody's broke something, or a cow is out, or whatever. There's all kinds of farm problems on a farm. I'm sure if you have a farm or a homestead, you can relate. If you have animals and this hasn't happened, it will. Just get ready. So you come home and you plan on doing this project, but really it turns into a day of maintenance and a day of chasing. That happens. And so you just look at the time, look at the amount of minutes you're spent, and this becomes a philosophy of work, but it becomes something way more than that. So now I have this philosophy of what I'm going to do every day, my daily work philosophy, and it's becoming more. Now it's those philosophies help me decide what job I'm going to do next. So as you look, and your goal is to have 50% of the time you're making your farm better, whether that's marketing, whether that's building a new project, building a new building, putting new fence up, buying new animals, selling animals, whatever it is, whatever you're doing on your farm or your homestead to make money, if you're doing something that makes you do that better, that's making your farm better. Beautification even. So if you're not spending 50% of the time to do that because of this maintenance, because of these daily chores, you now have a roadmap to where you need to go with your projects. Now, if you say, I can never do anything, I can never get ahead, I can never make things better because I'm constantly just running around doing daily chores and maintenance, you need to cut something. You need to cut something to give yourself some time to make your farm better. But if you say, okay, I only have a little bit of time and I'd like to have more, but I only have a little bit of time, you now with this philosophy have a roadmap. So you're going to pick projects that make your farm better by the amount of time they're going to take away from something else. So if you build an automatic feeder, makes your farm better. That's the last video if you haven't checked that out, the pig feeder video. But you build this pig feeder, you made your farm better, you spent time building it. Now you've reduced your daily maintenance for pigs and pig feeding. Now you have more minutes every day to make your farm better. Okay, you're spending too much time hauling water. That's a common one I see in homesteaders. So we're going to invest the money. We're going to use that making our farm better project to get us some water hydrants out everywhere so we no longer have to spend daily minutes hauling water. The project that you do, the thing that's going to save you the most amount of minutes either in your chores or in your daily maintenance, those are the things you're going to do in order for a big project. If you're constantly working on a piece of equipment, if it's broke down more than it's running right, maybe you should invest your money into the farm better by buying a piece of equipment that's not broke down. And I don't like to go in debt with equipment. I don't like to do those things. But the one great thing about tractor companies is you can usually get it for 0% interest. So it's free money. And that's a philosophy that you have to do. I try to follow Dave Ramsey on those kind of things. But those are the kind of things you weigh out. Now with this philosophy, I've weighed out what my daily, activities are going to look like based on what's going to help me best save minutes. It also is going to say, money. Where am I going to spend my money? And so if you now take and say, okay, my time is worth $20 an hour, find a number, figure it out, whatever it needs to be, pick that number. Buying a tool, buying a tractor, buying gates, buying whatever, building a barn, building automatic waters, but whatever it would be, those things have a cost. And now you say, I have a cost for my hours. And if I do this project, it will save me this many minutes per day, estimated, because I spend this amount of time doing it. Now I've saved this many minutes, equates to this many dollars, and it'll take this long a time to pay it off. So I'll run you through this exercise. You do $20 an hour and you spend an hour a day hauling water, right? So you want to put a hydrant. Hydrant's $120. You're going to spend $300. It's way out there. You're going to spend $300 on pipe. You're going to spend $300 on a rental of a trencher and let's say another $100 in miscellaneous things, fittings, clamps, whatever it takes. You're gonna, how many ever hydrants you're gonna put in, whatever you're gonna do. So let's say major project, $500. You spend an hour a day, that's $20. So in 5 days, that's $100. So in 25 days, if you no longer have to spend an hour, in 25 days, you've paid for that material for that project, if that's how it works out. Now, if it takes you from 1 hour a day of hauling water to 10 minutes a day, you've now only saved 50 minutes a day, which let's say that's $17 a day. So you do the math and you figure it out. It's how much time does it save you, not how much do I spend on it total. So you see how this goes. This is efficiency. I will tell you, if you can pay something back in 1 month, if buying a tool saves you this amount of time and it pays you back in 1 month, it's a no-brainer. Buy it right now. If something takes you 6 months to pay it off, it's a great idea if you can afford it, and you should put it at the top of your list. If you can pay it off within a year, it's on your list, but there might be a few other projects you're going to be able to find on your farm or homestead that should go atop of it. The grand scheme of things in a manufacturing facility, in a corporation, is 3 years. If you have a capital investment and it will save you the amount of time or make you back money that you can pay it off in 3 years, you should buy it. If it's more than that, you don't need it. So as we look at greed and we want things, a $60,000 tractor saves me 10 minutes a day to put out hay when I can put it out by hand. And I'm going to save buying round bales versus square bales or whatever it would be. And we do the math, and it's going to take me 5 years to pay myself back, but I really want that tractor. Don't buy the tractor. It doesn't pay you back fast enough. And so that's how you justify not only how you spend your time in a day, how you spend your money with these philosophy principles. You may be saying to yourself, well, Jared, where's YouTube fall into this? Well, YouTubers are going broke. Like it makes me zero money or very little. It's not even worth my time. I'm making 7 cents an hour here doing YouTube, but it keeps me sane. It's something I can do to give back. It's also something that I do that brings business. I do get a lot of customers from YouTube. You know, believe it or not, they talk about my farm. They see my farm. My customers like to see it. So it brings me business. It has some value, but there's not a lot of money in YouTube. So I'm wasting a lot of time today doing videos, and you can see how the videos have now cut in. It's getting dark already. I've wasted an hour, just little clips of videos here and there in between chores that I could have been getting something done. We did get the hay into the cows. I wanted to show you that while my phone was charging there. But there are certain things that are just a pleasure thing, maybe on your farm. YouTube doesn't cost me anything, essentially dollars out of my pocket, but it doesn't make me a ton of money. So I have to justify that in a realm. Part of it is just kind of recording my life. I can look back and see what were we doing this time last year. That was how YouTube got started for me, kind of. But there are certain things on your farm that you're going to do. If they're not costing you money and they're not costing you an incredible amount of time, or it's a very low money, for instance, planting annual flowers. You're making your farm look nicer. It's beautification. You spent $12 at the local greenhouse on a flat, a little, daisies or whatever you're buying, and you spent an hour planting them. You spent $12, you wasted an hour, that's $20 worth of time. It makes your farm look nice for a little while. It doesn't make you any money. It's not going to do anything for you, but it keeps you sane. It helps you to enjoy what you're doing. And so there has to be a little bit of that. The key with that is don't let that become greed with spending money. Well, if I had this nicer truck or I had those kind of things, that greed, the human concept, the human disorder of spending money that you don't have, and that's a deep hole that you'll get yourself in, you'll never get out. So stay away from that. And if you can spend 10, 20, 50 bucks here or there and do something to make your farm nicer, or your homestead nicer, but don't be spending thousands of dollars on something that you're not seeing it pay you back in minutes with these philosophies. Well, I hope this video helps. I'm headed to the house. It's stinking cold. I've got some paperwork to do inside, so that's going to be my maintenance for this evening and perhaps making my farm better. I can also spend time in my computer drawing for our next project and do those kind of things. So that's part of it. But basically, I'm going to go spend some time with the family. I've done my daily chores. I did do some maintenance while I was out there in the pig pen. I did look at how to make my farm better with a water. It's, you know, it's too cold to do that project right now, but I saw, hey, what am I spending time this winter on? And I'm going to take notes of that and try to figure out tonight how I can fix this problem I have, which will come out in a later video, obviously. And then I spent some time doing YouTube, which is enjoyment and perhaps some maintenance as far as marketing goes. But there's my video. I hope it helps you. I hope these philosophies work for you. You can go crazy with it. People already say I'm crazy with the amount of work when I come out, even when I'm sick, to do something to make my farm better. And so you got to kind of weigh how this works for you. You're not going to be good at it in the beginning. It's not perfect. It's just something that I do that works for me. And so if it helps you, I appreciate you watching, and I hope it does. And leave a message in the comment, and I hope this works for you guys.